find where my Zoom went. There we are. Okay. Hi, everyone. I said we were going to be live on YouTube, but we're live on Facebook. So I will upload this video to YouTube for anyone that's wanting to watch it later. I'm here with Leslie Potter, my mentor, a parent coach, and she's going to tell us all about herself. So I wanted to ask you, since we're asking the group trainees this week,
Yes.
What do you do?
Well, actually, I get to do what I love. I get to wake up every morning and support parents in experiencing pure joy. And the way I do that is by supporting them in creating safe emotional environments where they and their children can express their brilliance. Simple.
Yeah. Really simple. Oh, intensely simple.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, yes, because, many of us had to, as I say, hide our brilliance away. It's a little bit of a game of hide and seek. We hid our brilliance away to fit into our families, which was really, really smart. I mean, yes, right? We couldn't walk out and get new parents. And so Pure Joy is all about we're going on a hide and seek journey. We're going back to find out where we hid that brilliance and to bring that brilliance forward, which you're experiencing yourself since you went to the training twice now.
As I was getting myself prepared, as we practice sitting into our coaching seat, as you support us in your program, I was thinking to myself, you know what? When I get in the presence of Leslie, sometimes my emotional side comes out because I feel safe, and I hid that away for so long, that part of me, that brilliant part of me that was emotional. To stay safe in my family, I had to compensate. So what I'm just preparing myself to see if I cry.
Well, again, when we create that environment, it just makes a space where we can personally, and as well as in the group and the training, we all get to see each other, which is so potent and touching. And then we learn how to give that to ourselves, to meet those parts of ourselves that we hid away.
Yeah, it's been really, really yummy, as you call it. But you've been through a really long path to get to coaching, right? So coaching didn't start till later in your life. How did you even come to the coaching career? Because I didn't even really know about coaching myself for so long.
Well, I was a crazy, wild bohemian child. So I literally couldn't wait to get out of my dysfunctional home. My mother was an alcoholic. And my father had left with his mistress, and it was just a crazy, crazy life. So I had this fantasy of moving to New York City and being a famous actress, which I did. I moved to New York City and traveled all over Europe and acted. I didn't become super duper famous, but I did live that life, and then became a singer and moved to Nashville, and then I was going to be a famous rock star. So I lived a lot of my creative expression. My brilliance came out in creativity. And all of a sudden, I woke up probably in my early 30s and read 15 things that you are if you're codependent. And I had 13 of them. And so I went and checked myself into a codependency place. No one had ever checked themselves in. People, got sent there. I was like, sign me up.
I need this.
Because I was so excited to get to know myself. I mean, it was like, all of a sudden, there were all these reasons that I was the way I was. My brilliance, I knew was under there, but there were all these things that were stopping me. So I did that. And then when I came out of codependency treatment, I met my teachers that I trained in therapy. It was a process called Alaya therapy. And I met them and I did their work. And it was, again, I was on fire. It was like they gave me permission to be me. They opened my heart, my soul, my being. And so they got ready to do a therapy training. And I wasn't going to be a therapist. At that point, I was a wardrobe stylist and I was dressing people and wild. I had wild, crazy hair, blue, green, purple, you name it. And they were just doing, was the next step. And they said, we're going to train therapists. And I was like, because I got to come be with them. They lived in Colorado. So I got to come out here and travel and be with them. And it was so exhilarating, wonderful. And then I started helping them. I started promoting them. I started running their workshops for them and helping them. So that was the next step. And then I moved to Colorado and I left my wild ways behind. I grew my hair out and I kind of went into a cave for about 10 years. It was crazy because I really needed to do some deeper work. And when I came out at 44, I realized I forgot to be a mom. And that was the one thing I had to do. I didn't have to get married, but I had to be a mom. So I traveled to China, adopted my daughter, and oh my God, I was a therapist by this time because I had trained with them, and became a mama. And oh my God, just took me to my knees. Even after all my spiritual work, all my therapy work, everything, I was in the weeds. And when I'm in the weeds, I go inside. I work with myself. I get very excited when I'm in the weeds. Like most people just want to get out. I go straight head in. And that's when I started coaching. And a friend of mine asked me to come and work for his company, to work with at-risk teens, to teach. He was a mentor at at-risk teens. And he asked if I would come and be a parent coach there. And so I went into this company and I created this parent coach model. I sat down at the kitchen table with the parents and it was like, come on, let's get going. And that's how I started coaching. And then it just grew and people started asking me to sit with them. And
Yeah.
here I am. Now I'm coaching coaches or training coaches.
Yeah, that part about just getting to know yourself at a deeper level. I've always had that urge, and so I read all the books. Like at 18, I started doing mindfulness and yoga, and just diving deep into different types of philosophy, psychology, Eastern religion, like all the things, professional development as a teacher, trying to get my hands on everything. And it wasn't till your coaching program, and one of the things you said to me stood out, like, something, I don't know what I was talking about, something you said, usually this happens before the age of 40. And I was like, yeah, like there are parts of me that I hadn't grown up or I hadn't visited, like so many pieces and parts from my childhood that I was looking to escape, or what other strategy I was trying to get through. And so the program was the first time that had the most influential change impact on me as a person and as a professional. I wrote it down because I was like, I'll probably get emotional. Yeah, like I said, I spent like over 20 years trying to find myself through all these other things. And it was all inside the whole time. And I've known that because I would like wanted to call my business like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, like Wizard of Oz. She goes on this journey and it's, it's always back in Kansas the whole time. And so it was the first time I really felt it, like through your coaching your coach certification. Like if I can feel this deep inner wisdom, that's what I've been wanting to support other people with in my teaching for so long. I wasn't getting to that level with myself, so I couldn't sit with that level in other people. So it was really like building the program that you have, and you can talk about it and give us the details in a second. It's how I really felt confident that I had the capacity to coach others in their inner discovery. So because I was able to discover so much, and I have the practice, the foundational safe seat practice, to continue to discover more and more as I go, because you just never know who's coming in your life and what new parts you have to discover. So
Yeah, and that's the most exciting part about it. I mean, I had that experience too. I mean, I always tell people my retirement account was spent on therapy. I started when I was 20 and it was wonderful. I grew so much, so many things, but nothing had ever really, taken me to my knees like parenting did. And so I had to go even dive deeper to find what was going to give me a safe enough container to actually meet myself. And again, I found it inside. I found it with a safe seat. And the training is, some people call it's like a super duper safe seat. It's like this big bubble, this safe seat with like 12 to 15 people in there, right? And everybody in a way makes this agreement. I think we just come in there and we make this agreement that we're going to be safe for each other. And the training, what I love about it is it is a very wonderful personal training, because I require my trainees to go through what they're going to be meeting in their clients, as well as a professional training. By the end, you will be able to offer that to others. But it's like a big giant safe seat, right? Where you just really get to express things that maybe you've never expressed in your life, and you don't get kicked out, you don't get shamed, you don't get guilted, you don't get penalized. People are just like, yeah, bring it.
Yeah. We want to see all of you. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a giant game of hide and seek, because I say if you're hiding, someone's gonna find you.
Yes, and that's your brilliance, Leslie. You see it. You see it. I guess we should.
I will tell people really quickly that's what I always laugh, because I was the best hider in the world, because I was really tiny when I was little, and I was hide under a pillow, and my sister would make the bed over me when we'd have kids over. So I'm a really good hider, and so I had to learn to be a really good seeker, not outside, but a seeker inside. So that's what I love to do now.
Yeah. I guess we should talk a little bit about if anyone's interested in the training, there's a link to come to an info call in the description of this video. But can you just tell us like a little bit more about the substance of it, or the logistics of it?
It's an 8-month training, and it is we meet twice a week via Zoom. We meet for an 1.5-hour teaching call, and then we meet for a 2-hour practice call. This training is extremely loaded or heavy on practice, because I don't want you out there with just concepts. So you get to go in and practice. Then 1 hour a week, you meet with a buddy. You get a buddy in your time, and you can meet whenever you want with them. So those 2 hours, we're going to meet on Tuesday and Thursday again. I think we're going to meet at noon on Tuesday, probably noon or 1 o'clock on Thursday. It's a great time. And we have group coaches in there also. So we have lots of the group coaches offer. Tanya was one of the group coaches this time. And they offer personal process groups every week that are available to you. They're not required. You get feedback like out the wazoo. Your group coach, every buddy pair is going to have a group coach that'll give you feedback. And then on the 5th month, you get to work with a client. You get a client for 8 weeks, and I choose those clients for you, and then you get feedback. So it's feedback. So your ego gets really slaughtered, right?
Yes. And
but by the end, you're going, give me feedback. Right?
Yeah. And anyone that has any, I guess, history with teaching or caretaking or therapy or nursing, you get practical experience usually, but you're not really thrown into the weeds, or like thrown into like with someone actually observing you and being there for you and giving you feedback. It's always felt like a surface level, and just like, okay, you're a teacher, have fun. And it's all those triggers that come up that you didn't realize were there. So in a coaching program, like you said, there's so much support that when you're done, you're ready to take on clients right away, and still have the capacity and the safe seat practice to call on when you are coming up against something new to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing about Purejoy for me also has been following the heart energy and getting out of the way of my mind, which of course was my brilliance. Like my mind protected me.
Yeah.
So if anyone is feeling like this is like really exciting, like that heart pull, that's the time to just talk to Leslie, because she will listen. She will not try to sell you anything. She will just be there to say, hey, tell me what's exciting to you. So
Well, that happened for you. What, we talked once? What, did you come to one call and we talked once and you're like, okay, I'm in.
yeah, I had no idea how much it costs. I didn't know the call
Me.
times or how long it was going to be.
I
I
know
was like,
you were
I
like,
need to be part of
yes.
Purejoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always tell people, if your heart calls you, yes, your mind's going to go up and say, I don't have the money. It's $7,997. We'll go ahead and tell people, because they'll freak out. They'll all go, I can't do it. Everybody does. We all do. Tanya did it. I did it. Everybody. And the heart says, boom, every time my heart has said do something, the money comes in another way. It doesn't come in the way that I think it's going to come in, that the mind thinks it has to, right? So if you go, I can't do it, but then your heart just keeps calling, you get excited, you want to talk, just reach out, do payment plans. We find a way, right?
Yeah.
Tanya knows we'll find a way. Tanya wanted to be there, so she didn't think she could do it, but she said, I'm in. So it's like, okay, we'll find a way. And we did.
Yes. And I'm coming off the second drip training, so I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. So cool.
All right.
Yeah.
One final way to get a hold of you. I did put the call that's coming up in the description. Then
let me speak about that really quickly. We have something called the Pillars of Purejoy, and it's what makes Purejoy unique. So the call on Thursday is going to be one of our unique pillars of Purejoy, which is, it's never about what you think it's about. And even if in this training, if you think it's about money, just tell yourself it's never about what you think it's about. So we're going to dive in really deep. You're going to get a little taste of what it's like to be in the training and to step into one of the pillars of Purejoy to see what it's really about. So that's what the call on Thursday is about.
Yeah, so jump in the call and come and listen, everyone that feels called to do so. And
we're getting full. I think we've got 3 spaces open now.
Oh,
so
that's exciting.
I know.
Okay, only 3 spaces left.
I know. We have
Follow
4
your
people
heart
sign up.
if it says come. All right. Thanks so much, Leslie. I'm going to turn off this